What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I feel like it's been so long that I don't even know how to do this anymore, but we're gonna try. It's killing me. Basically, it's killing me that I'm not able to post content for you guys every single week as I used to. Am I holding this? Okay, I don't even know how to do this anymore. Anyway, but I'm back because I did a Q&A and I asked you questions. No, you asked me questions and I'm gonna answer them for you. So the first question that you guys have for me is, what is the best short-term course in interior design? So this is a question that a lot of you guys have been asking, and this question is actually repeated a number of times. So I'm not gonna do another question. Like if I see another question that is the same, I'm not gonna mention it because I'm already answering it right now. So unfortunately, I do not know of any international like online course that I would recommend to you, just because I haven't taken any online courses. And for me to recommend something to you, I would need to take it first to make sure that it's something that is reliable and that you are paying something that it's actually worth it. I do know of one course that it's online and it's like interior design. I think it's a diploma, or is it a certificate? It's probably a diploma. And it's from the Interior Design Institute and it's a Canadian course. I do not know if you are not Canadian, can you enroll into this course? I do know a couple of people that have studied here and they are very happy with their studies and what they learned. And one of them actually, she went and opened her own business right after she finished the interior design diploma at the Interior Design Institute. So you can look that up. So because a lot of you guys are asking, I would probably have another video explaining how you can study online interior design. Although, I don't know, it's just very subjective. Like, for example, where I study, I love the institute that I study at, but I do have friends and people that studied where I studied that didn't like the school at all, so they changed schools. So it's very subjective, and you may like a course and other people may not like it at all. So yeah, that's interesting, but I'm gonna look into that and I'll probably make a video explaining you guys, and after I do my research and all of that, I can explain you guys what are your options if you want to study interior design online. But that's a really good question though. Okay, so the next question is, after studying as interior decorator, can I work as interior designer by having experience of 7 years? I think you absolutely can. I have met people who are self-taught. So basically they didn't go to interior design school whatsoever. However, I would say that if you want to work for a company, some companies will actually require you to have formal education. So your options may be limited if you want to work for someone, whereas if you want to have your own business, because some of the people that I know, they self-studied interior design and then they opened their own businesses. And I know there's a lot of risk on doing that because you have to have contacts and know people and also have money to open. It's basically you're opening a business. So it's not that easy as it seems. However, I do know people that didn't go to school and they work as interior designers. So I think it's doable. If you want to work for a company, I would say that one of the most important things would be your portfolio. So even if you don't have all the credentials and education, if you have a very good looking, an outstanding portfolio, then your chances of getting a job as an interior decorator or as an interior designer are more. Tell me about the color selection and combination. So when we work with colors in interior design, as interior designers, we have to learn about color theory. And so this is how you would know if you are mixing and matching colors correctly. So that's probably my answer to this question. You need to be educated on color theory and how to work with color theory. There is a book about color that I have recommended to you guys in my books video. I made a video recommending you guys interior design books, so I can leave it up here somewhere so you can check that out. But that's basically how we choose color. We first have to know about color theory and then we can apply colors in interior design. Can I get a chance to work with you? So right now, after I graduate, I'm gonna work for a company. So unfortunately, I won't be like hiring anyone at the moment. Eventually, I do want to open my own interior design business. That's something that it's always been on my mind, but I feel like I want to get experience first before I do that. So at that moment, I would probably reach out to you guys and you can send me your portfolio, because I do know that some people, some designers hire other designers online, so they work remotely, and I think that's pretty good. Like if you are a match for the company, you don't necessarily have to be on site, but it depends also. So at the moment, I'm not hiring, but at some point, maybe. Okay, so the next question is studying interior design easy or very hard? Personally, I think it's not easy, and that's just my opinion. Some other people may think differently. I don't think it's easy whatsoever. I think there's just so much knowledge to absorb and so many things to learn. And I feel like it's not only interior design, but you also have to learn about like construction and like architecture and other parts of that are like other industries that are related to interior design. So I do not think that it's easy. I think it's challenging, and I think it's a process that takes time to learn. And even if you have like 10 plus years of experience, you're always going to be learning new stuff, and there's always going to be like new challenges. So I don't think it's easy, but I have never heard of someone saying that it's easy. But probably there are some people that say like, oh, this is so easy, piece of a cake. So I don't know, for me it's not easy, but for me it's definitely worth it. So next question that I have is, I am recent graduate architect, but I've always had a problem with sketching. Any advice? Yes, my advice would be sketch every single day for 10 to 20 minutes. That's really, I think, the only way that you will actually learn how to sketch. Sketching is not something that you learn in a week, 2 weeks, in a month, in a year, like not even. Like it just takes crazy amount of hours of practice, and if you really want to learn it like really well, I would probably recommend you to get a teacher, because they would probably help you to, you know, make the process less painful and learn a little bit quicker. My personal experience is I learned perspective drawing at the age of 14 or something, because I started painting, and so they taught me perspective drawing, but I didn't really get it, you know, I was like too young. And then when I came to Canada and I enrolled in university, I started sketching a little bit, but I was very frustrated because my sketches were like awful, like you cannot even imagine, like they were awful. And so I just kept doing it, and slowly I was getting better. And it was recently that I took a course online with an architect. I will leave his information here. Unfortunately, he is from Mexico, so it's all in Spanish. Like he has these online courses, and they're all in Spanish. But after I took this course with him, a lot of the things started to make sense in my head, and he was like a really awesome teacher. The reason I'm saying this is like if you try to find a teacher, the process may be a little bit quicker and less painful, and practice is just gonna get better, like eventually, like inevitably it's gonna get better. So you do have to do it every single day if you really wanna get like really good at it. So that would be my piece of advice for you. But it's definitely doable, like anyone can draw. Like you do not, like you're not born with this. It's something that you will learn. So yeah, practice is key. What is more important for interior design, materials or construction of the building? That's a really good question. So I think overall, you know, the construction is more important because, so first of all, there's like two types of materials. Like in construction, you have like the construction materials, and you also have the interior design materials. So interior designers work for the most part with interior design materials, which is like the materials that are inside the home. So that's like your flooring, your walls, your like countertops, your millwork, your fabrics and all of that. And not that this is not important, but the construction materials are basically what are holding the building together, you know? So I would say those are like more important in terms of like the building structure. However, for interior designers, we are always working with interior design materials for the most part. So I think in our industry, it's more important to know about interior design materials. The next question is, have you considered any further career opportunities outside Western countries? I think the only place that I would work at, if it's not Canada or the US or Mexico, which is basically the West, that would be Dubai. I don't know, I feel like their architecture and interior design is like a whole different level. So I think that's the only place that I would work at if I wasn't in Canada, basically. So the next question is, how can I start my career after I move abroad? Do I start as an intern to get familiar, or how? Yeah, so being an intern would be the easiest and the best way that you can get your foot on the door of an interior design firm. For me, I started as an interior design assistant, which I think it's a little bit different than being an intern, because you're not necessarily doing like interior design on the job. At the beginning, when I was an assistant, I was doing like things like ordering materials and not necessarily designing, but it was really helpful because eventually you will also have to do this even when you are like a junior or like an intermediate or like a senior interior designer. So I learned a ton of things while being assistant to like another interior designer, which she was the business owner. And eventually I became a junior interior designer in that same company. So it's like I scaled my way up in the company. So I think that would be the best way to learn about interior design and like get experience. And yeah, it's really all about like getting experience, and like that's really, I think, the only way that you will know how things actually work in the industry. Okay, so next question is, just would love to see your programming process. So cool, the software you use. Oh, this is actually a topic that we were talking about just yesterday. I was on a field trip at an architect's house with my interior design classmates, and we were talking to the architect, and we were like actually discussing like what softwares they use, because I think it's something that everyone just talks about. Like, there's so many programs and everyone uses a different program, and like everyone has something to say about this. So for me, I use a bunch of different programs, and it's just a mess how I work, but that's the way that I learned, because I've learned different programs and I use them, all of them basically. I wish there was one program that can do it all, but unfortunately I don't think there is, and if there is, please let me know in the comments. I don't think there is, but I'm gonna explain to you how I work. So first, I use AutoCAD for construction drawings because that's what I learned in school, and that's what most interior designers use anyways. So I use AutoCAD, and then, but that's only like for technical documentation and construction drawing sets and all of that. So that's gonna come right after I do like hand drawing sketches and like space planning, and then I put everything into AutoCAD and I start playing with the floor plan and how it's gonna look like and all of that. And then I use a Sketchup to elevate that floor plan into a 3D model. And if I want to render that, I use Enscape and also Photoshop. So that's more like for presentation, and like if you're presenting to a client or like for your portfolio, you want something to look very, you know, professional and like nice and like rendered, then I use Enscape and Photoshop. And then for interior design, like presentations, like either I'm presenting to my class, or like, I don't know, if like there would be like a potential client and I want to, you know, do a presentation, I use Canva because I think it's very fast and like easy to work with. So that's for presentations. So what else? And I also use InDesign. Lately I have been using InDesign a lot for posters, for interior design posters, because we've been participating in interior design competitions in school. So creating like posters, and then you bring in all your like construction drawings and like your renders and everything to InDesign. So I think that's a really good program to use. I could also use Canva, but it's not very precise. And when you're like participating in interior design competitions, a lot of the times like you are required to have like margins, and like things are like very specific and like have to be like measured to fit your paper. And I think just InDesign does a better job when it comes to being precise. So that's what I use. And what else? Oh, and I also use Revit, which is also for construction drawings. And lately I have been transitioning more to Revit because I'm also learning it in school and I already worked with it. And the past company that I worked at, they only used Revit. They didn't use AutoCAD. So I had to self-learn this program before they taught it to me in school, which is happening right now. So I already knew it from before, and I always mention it to you guys in other videos, so you probably already know this. But I love Revit, and I think it's amazing. However, yesterday that we were talking to these architects, they were saying that what's the program? Vectorworks is way better than Revit. So now I'm like having second thoughts if I should learn Vectorworks. Let me know, guys, in the comments if Vectorworks is worth learning and if you work with it. So that's really how my process is. So it's all over the place, basically. How to find someone to work with online as a trainee? Apply, like send your resume, like send your portfolio, reach out to people. Like that's really how people get jobs. Like just reach out and apply and do not be shy like me. I heard the designers are struggling to find a job in Vancouver. Is it true? Probably yes. I do know a couple of friends from school that have been struggling to get jobs. But I think, I don't know, I feel like this just happens every year, and it's just hard to, you know, land on a company pretty quickly. And I have to say, a lot of the people here in Vancouver are very talented. Like, I've seen things that are just incredible, and like portfolios that are like so well done and like curated. So I think there is a lot of talent in the city, which makes the industry very competitive. So yeah, it's a very competitive environment. So I think that's probably why it's a little bit harder. But you know, it's also not impossible. Lately, I've been looking at job posts, and there are jobs, like people are hiring. So it's, you know, it's just like there are jobs, but it just takes time to get an interview, and like you just have to apply to probably, like if you're looking for a job, which I will, like in May, you probably have to apply like to 10, 15, and you may get like 2-3 interviews, which is normal and it's just part of the process basically. How do you define luxury in interior design? That's an interesting question. I think luxury for me would be high quality materials, 100%, and materials that can stand the test of time, not only in terms of like durability of the materials, but also like aesthetics. Like, how do you design a place? Like, for example, if you're doing like a hotel, how do you design a hotel that it's gonna look good after 10 years, you know, like that it's going to look timeless and it's not gonna go out of trend after 10 years? Because I feel like that's eventually what business owners want for like commercial projects specifically. So I think that would be luxury for me, like high quality and like good materials, like sustainable materials that do not harm the environment, and also that are timeless and durable. That would be for me luxury. Interior design. I want to learn perspective drawing. Is there any YouTuber, Instagrammers you know of? Yes, I normally watch Henry Howe. I will leave his information here. He's actually a friend YouTuber that I've been in touch with, but his work is amazing. Like, I would definitely recommend you guys to check him out. I also watch Eric. I'm sure you know him. He's very big on YouTube. He's an architect. And who else I watch? I don't watch a lot of perspective drawing. I think when I was learning perspective drawing, I would literally just type on YouTube like how to draw perspective drawings, and probably you will find something helpful. So there's not a lot of people that I come up like immediately, but I think just typing perspective drawings would be a good way. Where do you live in Vancouver? How do you afford it? I know Vancouver is really expensive, and I live in the north, and I do not right now I'm like basically broke because I haven't been working, which was not part of the plan. Like in my mind, when I was gonna enter school, I was gonna, you know, keep working and keep doing YouTube and like keep, you know, living my life. But everything basically had to stop for me to do my studies and to actually successfully-ish get good grades, and it's just been crazy, and I've had to pause everything in my life. I'm on my second semester, but I feel burned out because of my first semester. What's your advice? I don't know, because I feel exactly the way you feel. I have felt burnout like twice this semester and also like 2 times last semester. The way that I have coped with it was that I tried to have like a nice environment, like when I'm doing homework, like, because here's the thing, like I go to school and I come back and I'm like so tired, I don't want to do homework, but then I don't have a choice, like I have to do homework like for another like 5 to 6, 7 hours or even more, because I come back from school around 4-ish and then I'm up all night until like 1 a.m. So yeah, it's many hours and I sometimes do not feel for it because I'm just so tired and like so burnt out. So what I try to do is just like have my environment like really nice and have like some nice background music, you know, make myself like a coffee or something and like just have a nice vibe and environment so that I actually enjoy my work. So that has really helped me a lot. I would recommend you to sleep, although it's something that I haven't been doing a lot, but I would recommend you to recharge because that will give you like more energy for the next day. And then try to enjoy it and do not obsess so much with like your grades. Like I remember last semester I was obsessed with getting good marks and I didn't really enjoy it much, but this semester I'm just taking it easy and like trying to learn things. And surprisingly, like I think I am performing better this semester than I was last semester because I'm enjoying it more and I'm just learning and like enjoying the process basically, and also reminding yourself that this is not forever, it's temporary and it's gonna end someday and life is gonna get good, don't worry. Okay, next question is, I feel like this video is like 1 hour now. Could you please upload a tutorial on AutoCAD, Revit, or any software you use for work? This is something that I've been thinking over and over again because I uploaded a Sketchup tutorial. I think I have 2 Sketchup tutorials. No, maybe just 1. And it has a lot of views and I have a lot of feedback on that. So I think that you guys want to watch, like you want to see more videos about software. I am wondering like how useful would it be for you guys, like if I upload like AutoCAD or Revit, like what do you guys use the most, like what would be more important? And also like I don't want my YouTube channel to be like only Revit videos, you know, like what if someone is not interested in like Revit tutorials whatsoever? So I'm kind of like trying to sort this out and how it would be more useful for all of you guys. So yeah, that's interesting, but let me know guys in the comments, what are the programs that you use and what are the programs that you want to learn more about, and I can try to figure out something for you. Okay, so how do you know what country or state will be the best to work in the interior design field? So research, I think that's what I did before coming to Canada. I realized I wanted to study interior design since I was in Mexico. Right after high school, I wanted to study interior design, and then I saw that there wasn't any program for interior design in my city, and I was like, why? You know, like why is it not a popular career? And then I was just doing more research and like talking to architects, and it turns out that in Mexico at the time, I don't know how it works today, but at the time there was no such a thing as like interior design program or like career. And so basically the architects, they are the ones who do the interior as well. And then because I didn't want to study architecture, although I thought about studying architecture and then doing interiors, but then my parents were like, no, like why would you do that if you want to study interior design, you know? So then I was like researching, and then I saw that in Canada, like there were programs specifically targeted to interior design programs basically. And so then I came to Canada, and then here in Canada, there's like 3 or 4 schools that do interior design, like they teach interior design. And so that's why I ended up here. If you're looking into moving to a country or, I don't know, like exploring your possibilities in interior design in whatever country you're thinking of, you can also look at like the job opportunities that are within that country. Like for example, in Canada, like in Vancouver specifically, if you go into this website that's like for jobs, you will see like there's a lot of people hiring interior designers. So that's a good indicator that there's jobs for interior design. So I think research would be probably the only way that you would know. So I think we are going to wrap up this video. And I want to say there are more questions, and I think I'm gonna have to do a second part of this video because I don't want this video to be like 1.5 hours long. and I do want to answer all of your questions. So this is going to be part 1. I never thought it would take this long, but I think I talk a lot. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for sending me your questions. They are all very interesting, and I think you have great questions for me, guys. There's more, so do not panic if I didn't answer your question in this video. I will be back very soon, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.